your business can skyrocket to a whole other level. Here's the thing, when clients or customers form community with you, they become a dedicated, loyal following of yours that not only wants to buy more from you because they want to learn more from you, they want to hang out more with you, but they also start to become your brand ambassadors, where they refer people to you, they give you shout outs, and so much more. So that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to my community, to my space. And if you're brand new, my name is Gina Tasnelli. I'm the owner and founder of Hype Media, stylishly branded and Style Rebel Mama. And we work with established business owners, experts, thought leaders, coaches, and consultants to help you ignite your influence and visibility on social media so that you can connect with your ideal clients, make a bigger impact, and make more money, right? That's why we're in business. And so, how exciting is it when you have a group of people that are loyal to you, right? They're consuming all of your content, they're engaging with you, they want to hang out with you, they're ready for the next adventure with you, the next journey. And the problem is that it's not always so easy to make this happen. But I will tell you that once you get in a habit, in a routine of following these 5 simple steps, you're going to start building an engaged community that wants to continue to follow along with you, wants to continue to buy from you, wants to continue to learn from you. And so if you're brand new to my community, to my space, to this page or the pages that we're on and profiles, please just drop #new down below. Also, any questions that you have, even if you're watching this on the replay, drop them down below. I always come back and I answer everyone's questions. So let's start with number 1. Okay, so I'm going to go through 5 of these, but number 1 is we want to make it easy for people to communicate with us on these social platforms, because when we communicate with people, when we have this back and forth communication, right? Communication takes at least 2 people. That equals community. And if you can infuse this in your marketing, you start to engage with more people. There's studies that show that, I love this stat, 57% of consumers will stay loyal to your brand if there is more human communication. And that is now more important than ever because these platforms are saturated, but it doesn't mean that you can't stand out. It's just you have to do it in a different way. So no more cookie cutter strategies, right? We really want to bring the human element into all of our marketing, and that human element is you. That's something that you really can't delegate to somebody else. And when you build a proper community, when people feel that they're being heard, when they feel like you are communicating with them, I can pretty much guarantee that your business will grow and scale. So how do you do this? How do you create this communication? So one way is to use Messenger or DMs over on Instagram, or what do they call them over on LinkedIn? Direct messages, I guess, on LinkedIn. So having that communication so you go back and forth with somebody and actually have a conversation. And I don't mean just randomly message people and say, hey, I noticed that we have similar friends and I thought you would be interested in this. No, I don't mean that at all. Okay. That's weird. That's just gross, honestly. And that's not going to get you very far. So what I mean is, if you are intentional with the people that you want to engage with, so say you have real connections connected to you on your personal profile on Facebook, for example, go to their personal profile, see what they're up to, see what's new in their life. And then if it makes sense, right? And they seem like somebody that could be an ideal client or maybe a partner, somebody to refer people to and vice versa, then reach out to them and say, hey, I just wanted to say congrats on, whatever you saw in their personal profile. I'd love to catch up. It's been a while. Right? Or, if you see some sort of post that maybe gives you the opportunity to give them some advice, some suggestions, that's another great way. But you're not going to know unless you're actually intentionally doing this and, being very purposeful in who you're engaging with. Number 2 on how to create this communication is launch a Facebook group, for example. Or maybe you want to do it off of Facebook, right? But a group is a great place to gather people together, people that are on a similar mission. They're interested in learning the same things, you as the expert, but you all have a similar mission. And so that's a really great way to create community. And then you can do Q&A sessions in there. In fact, I have a couple Facebook groups and I do a Q&A session usually before this session that's public, right? But I do a Q&A session privately inside of my group before or after. And it allows my community members to have a deeper dive into something that I just recently trained. It also allows them to ask me questions and have access to me and for free. Okay. So it's allowing me to create those conversations, to create that communication, and it gets people to really know, like, trust, and then more likely to want to work with me, if they have the resources to, if it makes sense for them, and if it makes sense for me to work with them. Right. But you don't know until you create this sense of community. Another way is to get involved in other people's communities. And I don't mean like go into other people's groups and promote yourself. Okay. That's not what I mean. I mean, actually, social listening, taking some observations of the conversations that are happening inside of these groups, try to find places where you can interject and you can give suggestions so that you show up as somebody who has credibility and they can start to trust and also get to know. Another way is using Instagram stories or, Facebook stories as well. That's a great place to start to hold conversations with people because it creates this sense of community. It gets people to see your face, see your life, what you have going on, and it's not super produced, right? And it doesn't need to be super branded either. It's just you being you and just being real. This one's a little bit more techy, but it's great, especially if you have a website, and that's adding a live chat to your website. So it gives people an opportunity to ask questions right there from your website, especially if you're running ads or you're driving a lot of traffic over to your website. You want to be able to have conversations with them. All right. So the second way to create a sense of community to help build your business and grow and scale is to provide value in your content. And what I mean by content, I mean social media posts, emails, text messages, DMs, videos, okay, blogs, all of that are places where you're providing content, but providing value within that content. So it's not so much about constantly doing shameless self promotion, right? People want to engage with you with what it is you bring to the table. And so you want to share with them ways that you can help them solve their problem without actually promoting it. And that's simply as hosting Q&A sessions, sharing 3 tips. How can I better help you guys out? Ask that question within your communities, on your Facebook page, on your business page. Ask, are there any topics, that would really be helpful to you right now if I did a training on? And so when you're providing value like that, it allows people to feel like they are connected with you. And that's what people want. They want to be heard. They want to feel like they're connected with an expert and that the expert actually cares. Okay. All right. Some ways to do this. Using infographics is another way. So the first way was to obviously to do like Q&A sessions, right? Ask questions, but also providing infographics because those give a lot of details. They're a great way to provide useful information to your community. Another one is to share things that are adding value to your own life, right? So like maybe it's a book that you're reading that they could also benefit from. Also highlighting key points from one of your Q&As. So if you feel like you get a very similar question that's being asked over and over again, highlighting that. And it's obviously a pretty important question if more than one person is asking the same thing. All right. Okay. So the third way to create community is to give and give more than receive. So I see a lot of takers on social media, especially, and those same takers are the same ones that are having issues with engagement, that are complaining about the algorithm, that are complaining that their sales aren't where they'd like them to be, that feel like they're not getting leads and nobody's seeing their content because you are not giving enough. You are instead taking. And so if that hit a little nerve, I'm not so sorry because I see this so much and it's a real turnoff to people. So what do I mean by give? What I mean is if you are using social media as a tool for your business, for marketing yourself, you need to also use it as a user, as an actual person that wants to connect with others on these platforms. So, one little quick hack that I can give you is for every one piece of content that you put out there, engage on 3 other pieces of content that are not yours. Okay? That feeds the algorithm. Connect with people in Messenger. That actually heightens your exposure in the newsfeed because it's showing, for example, Facebook, that you are actually wanting to connect with people. That is what the platform is for. It wants people to connect with people. The more that you connect with people, the longer people are going to stay on the platform. And that's what they really care about. That's going to help their advertisers too. So remember to give more than you actually receive. And I promise you will actually receive a lot. The algorithm will become your best friend. All right. That's number 3. Some ways that you can also give are to run giveaways, right? Like do some giveaways, reward your top followers or your top engagers is another way. All right. Number 4, fourth way to create community is to involve your community with what you're passionate about. So, share not just your professional life and yes, what you're passionate about in your professional life, but also in your personal life. That way they get to know you as a real human being. And it's more exciting and fun to engage with you when you do that. And then number 5, which is one of my favorites, is to tell your story. Tell your story, be a storyteller. And I'm not specifically talking about sharing content in stories. I'm talking about actually letting people know something about you and do this often, right? So you could be sharing something that you thought about when you were walking your dog, okay? And relate it to your business somehow. You could be sharing an experience that you had when you were on a call with a prospect. You could share an experience that you had when you were on a call with a client. You could share results from a client, a case study, how it made you feel when you had a conversation with a client or with somebody else, something that just like happened in your life. Share stories. This really touches people on that emotional level. And when you can connect with your audience emotionally, it is actually going to create this sense of not just community, but also a sense of them actually knowing who you are. And the more that people can know, like, and trust you, the more likely they are going to say yes to your offers or just give you a hard no, right? Rather than playing this, I wonder if they want to buy from me or why don't they want to buy from me? It's going to really help you just understand your business more and understand your audience more. So I hope that that's helpful. All right, so I'm going to do a really quick recap. 5 simple ways to build an engaged community on social media. So number 1 is make it easy for people to communicate with you. Do that by using Messenger, launching a Facebook group, getting involved in other groups, sharing inside of stories. And a more technical one is adding a live chat to your website. Okay, number 2, provide value. So, building an engaged community isn't just about hoping to sell, okay, because we actually need them to turn into leads first. And that can happen if you build an engaged community, but it's also to grab people's interest so that they get to know, like, and trust you. And some ways to do that are by using infographics, sharing some behind the scenes, adding things about your life. That's a great way of adding value. And then highlighting some key points from any Q&As that you do. Number 3, the third way to add a community feel to your social media to increase your engagement is to give. Give more than receive. And I promise in the end, you're actually going to receive a lot more. Okay, you can do this by running giveaways, by making sure that you're engaging on other people's content more than you putting out content, rewarding your top followers with promotions, giveaways, things like that. Fourth way of creating community to increase your engagement on social is to involve your community with things that you are passionate about. So let them into your life. Show them the personal side as well as the professional side. And then number 5, the 5th way to create a sense of community to increase engagement on social media is to tell a story, be a storyteller. You want to connect with people on an emotional level. That way they truly get to know, like, and trust you, and then are more likely to buy from you. And if I don't, or maybe I do, I'll see you again next Thursday, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, stay social.